Hey friends, welcome to the first episode of A This and That. My name is Aziz, that's one of my names. And so today I want to talk about friendship. This is a topic I'm really excited to talk about. So let's get into it. Okay, I have been thinking a lot recently about the differences in friendships or like friendship trends and structures between like our parents' generation and our generation, right? And I've been thinking about how friendship is structured, like how it operates and everything. Okay. And I think there's a huge shift. I mean, a lot has changed in the past, like, I don't know how long a generation is, but I want to talk about it with you people and see what you think, right? Okay, so there's been a lot of studies recently that are talking about a loneliness epidemic. So they're basically saying like currently like young people are lonelier than ever, right? And it's like, okay, what's this? Why are people having like less friends? What's happening to friendship, right? And typically we spend more time alone the older we get. So like when we're really young, we're spending a lot of time with our parents, our friends, our colleagues, our siblings. And then the older we get, some people get married, they spend time with their kids, whatever. And then as the kids like leave the nest and everything, older people tend to spend more time alone, right? So that's just like a general trend in the population. But it seems like young people now are lonelier than like people in the sunset years, like no offense. So it's like, okay, what's happening? What's going on, right? All right. So I was trying to think about this and trying to understand. And I'm like, okay, obviously there's a shift in friendship. And like, even before we get to the shift in friendship, like, let's talk about friendship as a phenomenon in our society, right? Why do people become friends in the first place? And I was looking at the dictionary, and the definition of a friend is somebody you have mutual affection for, excluding any blood relations or any sexual relations. So I don't know about friend benefits. But yeah, so I did some small study on the origins of friendship, and evolutionarily speaking, humans started collaborating with other humans based on survival. It was a lot of like exchange, like nifanyie hivi mimi nitakufanyia hivi, right? Tit for tat. And so some scholars were trying to make like that to be the basis of friendship. Like, okay, obviously we benefit something. Everybody benefits something. For you to be friends with somebody, obviously there's something you're gaining from that connection. And then there's also something you're giving. But I was like, okay, I guess, but I feel like this doesn't satisfy me. Because when I was thinking about all my friendships, especially the ones that are really close right now, I think, yes, they might, and they did, most of them started from like mutual benefit, right? Like, okay, we're both in school. I need a study buddy, you need a study buddy. Let's study together, let's help each other. Okay, I get that. And most of our friendships start from like a situation where like we're both experiencing something together, whether it's work or school. Most of the time it starts with like benefit, right? But I feel like at some point it has to transcend that. I feel like at some point I don't really think about how my friends are benefiting me in tangible ways, right? Like I don't really think about, okay, so I want to buy Kadogo a cake, but when was the last time she bought me a cake? Let's talk about that. Like I don't find myself thinking in those terms, right? Because I feel like at some point I just really love Kadogo and I don't really think of like the tangible ways she's benefiting me. Now maybe this is unpopular because I think recently there's been a trend of people being like, oh, like almost take stock of your friendships, see which ones are benefiting you, see which ones are not benefiting you, and realign your life, snip. Me personally, I disagree with that completely. At some point, you just really care about people. You just want the best for them. Like, you just love them and you can't even explain why. Like, I've ever been asked, like, okay, why do you love this friend so much? Like, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, I could probably list like their good qualities and everything, la 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 la. But I'm like, I don't know that that's why I love them, right? I feel like that's something I like about them, but that's not why I love them. And there's a difference. Like, I love their qualities, but okay, so let's say today, let's say I love my friend because she cooks the best pilau, and she always cooks me pilau every Thursday and everything. If she stops cooking me pilau, am I gonna stop loving her? No. And if I told you, okay, me nimeachana na udem because like she doesn't cook me pilau anymore, you'd be like, that's shallow, right? So that says we don't love people because of their qualities necessarily. At some point, it transcends that. We just love them because, right? And so I was thinking about this, and then I came upon this concept that is in the Maasai culture, and it's the concept of friendship, and they explained it using the philosophy of Osotua. And essentially, Osotua loosely translates to like umbilical cord. And in the Maasai culture, they view friendships as like a conception of need. So like they don't help friends because of tit for tat, like you did this for me, I'm gonna do that for you. It's based on need. And if you think about the umbilical cord, think about like the mother who like has the uterus or the womb, and then it's connected to the fetus, right? And the fetus depends on the mother for the food and for everything coming out using the umbilical cord. So this concept of umbilical cord is basically to say, I'm helping this person, I'm helping this friend because they need it. They need help, period. That's it. And I came across this anthropologist, and he says that the concept of friendship is not based on strict reciprocity. Rather, it is based on need. It's like from mwenye ako nayo, from whoever has, to the one who needs, from each according to their ability to each according to their need, right? So we help people because they need. We help friends because they need.
Wait a minute, hold on.
One of the strongest features of capitalism, I think, is individualism, right? And individualism is also a very it's all about freedom, liberty, me. There's no we, there's only me, right? I was speaking with my friend, and we were saying how like when we were younger, things were so communal, right? Things were so communal. Literally, it was those things of like maybe you're just standing at the stage with your mom or something, waiting for the bus or something, and then some lady will just come, hey madhe, unaweza nishikia huyu mtoto nakimbia pale kwa duka or something. And at that time, it wasn't like a big deal of like, oh, who are you, like whatever. It would just be like, oh sure, tutamchungia mtoto aende akimbia kwa duka arudi. But I'm trying to say, like, we were less suspicious of each other and we were more willing to help each other. Right now, like me personally, I don't even know my neighbors. And that wasn't a thing when I was growing up. Like, I knew my neighbors, I played with my neighbors' kids and all that stuff. But right now, I feel like we've become so individualized. And I think there's a connection between individualism and how our friendships operate these days. So, one thing, I think that friendship has become privatized, like a privatized commodity. And here's what I mean by that. I feel like in the past, friendship was just like that. We're friends because just, like you're here, I'm here, we're friends, boom. It doesn't need much. Like, I play with you because you exist near me. Proximity was almost like the biggest thing to determine friendships. These days, I feel like to even become someone's friend, there's so, like, kuna terms and conditions you have to fulfill. Are you, like, are you gonna drag me down? Do you have your dreams intact? Do you have an LLC? Have you passed your KCSE? There's so many categories to people being your friend, and like it's like chill. Like, here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like you shouldn't try to be friends with people who inspire you and bring out the best in you. But I don't think that should be the standard of friendship. I don't think that you should like look at people and say, okay, this person, she doesn't even have a job. She's dragging me down. It's a minimum cutoff. I feel like that's literally commodification. We're treating people, and I mean, in our world these days, I feel like everything has become commodified, and we look at people, places, things, everything in our lives is a commodity. Even our lifestyles are commodities. But with commodified friendship, right now we treat people as objects. It's like, that's why you hear people saying things like, if your friend is not serving you anymore, cut them off. And like, to me, I feel like those words worry me. Let's break it down. What does serving you mean? Because the way people put it is like, okay, your friend should elevate you. Your friend, you should be talking business with your friend. Like, chill. I don't think we should be friends with people because they're serving us, because they're helping us achieve our dreams, blah, blah, blah. I think you can, and even should, have friends who can, elevate you, who can connect you. Honestly, be strategic and whatever. You can have friends who help you achieve your dreams. You can have friends who push you. And I think you can also have friends who are just friends, just chilling buddies. The point of friendship, for me, is based on the need for connection as human beings. We all have this need as human beings. We all have this innate and inherent need as human beings to connect with other human beings. And that's why people, like, if you think about the concept of friendship, I think it's the simplest explanation to why people have an inherent and intrinsic need for connection. Because just because you're a person, Umutu,
you're a person, they are a person, I'm a person, we all person.
Just because somebody is a person and you're sharing an experience, you become so connected. Like, what other explanation do you need? How do you explain that? And I think the fact that we hear so much advice or coaching, first of all, okay, I'm not gonna knock your hustle, but I feel like coaches wamezidi. There, I said it. But anyways, I feel like there's so much coaching and all that stuff these days of like how to level up. And leveling up involves cutting off people who are like dead weight, basically. I think it's very harmful to think in these terms because we don't realize it, but we are basically objectifying people and reducing them to like products. And we're wondering why we feel so dehumanized and so lonely. When it comes to friendship, I feel like these days the bar is so high. We're treating it like a contract, right? And this is not me saying that you shouldn't have standards in friendship. What I think is that there's just a proliferation of this narrative of like cut people off. There's almost like a voice in our ear telling us, get rid of all your community. Level up. There's now people who are like, you don't need people. Nobody got you like you. Nobody got you like your mama. And you don't hear that about like romantic relationships. So that's another thing. There's so much devaluation of the role of friendship in our society because nobody tells us how to be a good friend. If anything, cut off your friends. I think no wonder we're so lonely, right? And also these days, like, it's not lost on me that friendships are also so shaped by societal structures of oppression. The issues of colorism, fat phobia, even beauty politics and desirability politics in itself influence the people we become friends with sometimes, how we treat people in friendships, how we maintain certain friendships. Like, that's not lost on me. It impacts how we treat people. Socioeconomic status, like, I feel, okay, another thing I think impacting how we are making and maintaining friends is we're just so busy because people are stressed, people are broke, people have, you have to have a side hustle to survive, to pay rent, to do whatever. You don't have enough time to like spend time with your friends. And it's almost like friendship is becoming like a class issue as well, right? Like it's a luxury afforded by the wealthy. The wealthy can have their friends on a boat in Miami or something, and the working class have to constantly work. Like maybe they can just get with their friends on like a weekend for brunch or something, and let you be having kids as well. Like you don't even have time for friends. Like the culture is killing us. It's separating us from our friends, and that's why already the structures in place are keeping us away from people. That's why these days there's everything that you can just spend time by yourself. You can watch Netflix by yourself. You can order Uber Eats and eat by yourself in the house. There's everything to like cater to a life indoors. And then you don't have time to hang out with friends. Or if you have time, they don't have time. Maybe they live in a city elsewhere or a country elsewhere. Like there's so many physical and structural things keeping us away from people, right? Even hanging out with people these days costs an arm, a leg, a spleen, a pancreas, a kidney, and like the systems and the structures and the products being sold to us are constantly reducing the time we spend with other people and increasing the time we spend alone. So there's already that, like physically, we've been almost like shut in a room and like hanging there by yourself. And then now also there's this narrative growing, oh, you don't need people, no one's got you like you. You know, I don't buy it. I reject it actually. I reject it. And we must people, because community is everything. We cannot survive this life by ourselves. We literally cannot. Like I am because you are, and I am because she is, and he is, and they are. Like we all are because everyone else is. Like that's what makes us a society, like one another. And so we must reject this narrative of like fake friends, toxic friends, cut people off. Caveat, nuance. This is not to say you shouldn't cut people off. That like everything is very situational. What I am saying is we need to shift away from this narrative of like almost like we're keeping score. It's a tit for tat. Like I feel like we're on eggshells. Like it's so, and this is the narrative. I'm not saying it plays out in everyday life, in everybody's life, but I'm just tired of seeing this narrative because I think especially the generations after me are gonna grow up thinking, oh yeah, everybody is fake, don't trust no one, like nobody got you like you, blah blah blah. I think it's sick. I think it's tired. I think let's retire this narrative. Maybe you might say, okay, you're romanticizing friendship a bit, and maybe I am, and maybe it's because I think in a society that's so individualistic and that's pushing us further and further away from each other, I am gonna be one of the people who's trying to say, hell no, girlies, like let's fight for friendship, let's fight for community, let's fight for each other. And back to what I was saying about my parents' generation, when I look at like my mom's generation and especially the women, it's like you don't need to be BFFs with somebody to show up for them, right? Like if somebody has an issue, a problem, amepata na msiba, everybody shows up because that person needs people to show up at that time. I honestly hope that we can move away from this individualism. We can move away from this record keeping and all that stuff. And I just hope we can embrace the beautiful, revolutionary power of friendship, because friendship save lives. Like, you know this joke that's always on the internet, like, oh, after hanging out with my friends for a night and life has meaning again. And it's like, we need people. People need us. That's it. And it's okay to have standards. I think people outgrow each other just because of life, just because of, circumstances, just because maybe one person moved away and their life is radically different right now. Maybe somebody had a child, maybe somebody got married. But that being said, I think it's okay to adjust the friendship and say, okay, maybe this person is like, not my number one friend anymore. Or even maybe communicate and say, hey girl, like, I feel like, we used to hang out all the time, whatever. Like, don't be afraid to tell people that you miss them or that you want to connect with them more. Don't be afraid to shoot your friendship short. Friendship is this beautiful thing, and I hope we can bring back being friends, just because. And on that note, I'm gonna share one song I've been listening to a lot lately that makes me think of friendship. It's called Kalakuta by Empower Africa. And the song is not necessarily about friendship, to be fair, but this song just makes me think of friendship. And I watch it on YouTube. Hey guys, like, okay, I know some of my friends always make fun of me for this, but I listen to a lot of my music on YouTube. I love Spotify and everything, but I feel like for me, when listening to a song, I have to listen to 15 covers just to see, let's hear like an acoustic version. So even with this song, watch the YouTube video. It's such a cute video. They're just laughing and vibing. I love this song. So yeah, listen to this song, reach out to your friends, tell them you miss them, tell them you love them, celebrate friendiversaries, write your friends a letter, and I hope we can fight more for friendships, especially in these times of heightened individualism, because community is the only thing that's gonna get us out of these hard times, honestly. So yeah.
Let me take you to Kalakuta. See my people, they're never too far. I want